Yeah, this that entrepreneurial conversation where ideas flip the hustle into elevation. No filters, no cap, just lessons in motion. Pull up, lock in, this entrepreneurial conversation. Yeah.
Welcome. Before I jump into the conversation for today or start the conversation, I got a couple things to say to my entrepreneurs out here, especially you getting to that point where it's time for you to build a team because your business is growing rapidly, right? So, you get to a point where you cannot do everything by yourself and what have you. So it's time for you to build a team. But one thing you must understand, because a lot of times we make a mistake when it comes to building a team, and we want to avoid that as much as possible. So I got three things for you, right, before we jump into the show for today, guys. Your team can either accelerate your business or it can be your biggest expense, right? And another thing is many entrepreneurs focus on hiring people, but not the right people, right? So let me say it again. Many entrepreneurs focus on hiring people, but not the right people, right? And the third thing is building a team starts with avoiding common mistakes. So we're going to go over the things to avoid when it comes to building a team for today. So hopefully, man, y'all will gain a lot of things, knowledge, understanding, information from this conversation that we're going to have today. But other than that, guys, man, grand rising to all my investors and stuff out there, man. Thank y'all for coming through. Listen to another episode of that Entrepreneurial Conversation on this lovely Monday morning. And hopefully you checked out the Sidebar Convo radio show this past Friday. It was a great show. Hopefully y'all answered the questions. Hopefully y'all got active in the comment section. Hopefully y'all immerse yourself in like-minded people, conversations with like-minded people with yourself, because that's what this is all about, man, is generating conversation, getting information, be able to converse with people that's like-minded like yourself to help you grow, help you build. What they say, iron sharpen iron. So we want to sharpen each other and make sure that we are reaching that pinnacle of success as entrepreneurs. And this is what this is. Invest Media is a hub for entrepreneurs and what have you. So, man, like I said, today, man, we're going to have a great conversation. Today, topic of conversation we're going to be talking about is things to avoid when building a team for your business. So before we jump into the conversation for today, you know what time it is, guys. If you're listening to the pre-recorded show, make sure you hit that subscribe button, subscribe to Invest Media, and also hit that notification bell, and hit all so you can be notified anything new that drops on this channel and what have you. And also, man, invest in hitting that like button, guys. It's free to invest in hitting that like button. But other than that, guys, man, let's jump into the topic of conversation for today, guys. Like I said, man, we're going to be talking about is things to avoid when building a team for your business, guys. Like I said before, man, your team can either accelerate your business or become your biggest expense. And that's one thing you want to avoid, man. You don't want to become an expense where it's draining your business rather than helping your business grow and what have you, right? And another thing, what I said was many entrepreneurs focus on hiring people, but not the right people, right? So we're going to jump into all that, man, to make sure you're hiring the right people for your business. And the other thing, what I said was building a great team starts with avoiding common mistakes. So if you can avoid the common mistakes as possible, man, that definitely can help you go a long way in being an entrepreneur or growing your business and what have you, right? So the first thing is hiring too fast, right? And so what's hiring too fast, right? So one thing is you don't hire because you feel overwhelmed, right? Don't hire because you're overwhelmed. And that's the thing about it. Yes, you're going to become overwhelmed because you at the early stages of being an entrepreneur, right? So you're going to feel the pressure because now you don't see, because a lot of times we get caught up of want to see the microwave results real fast, right? And it doesn't happen like that, right? So we get caught up, we feel overwhelmed, so we want to work ourselves even harder to thinking that's going to make you see the results that you want, right? And sometimes you're going to feel overwhelmed because you at the early stages is you doing majority of the work because you have to. You don't have a team yet, right? So you building the foundation, you building your business, right? So because you're feeling overwhelmed, don't mistake it as you need to hire, because now you're not ready to hire anybody. You don't have the proper leadership, the proper understanding, the knowledge yet, because you're just growing as an entrepreneur, and especially your business haven't even seen any growth yet. So it's not time for you to hire, right? This is just the time for you to take a break, a little break, so you can refocus, regroup, get mentally back right mentally in a in a clear space and what have you, whatever you need to do to make sure that you can not feel overwhelmed, right? It is going to happen, right? So don't mistake becoming overwhelmed as you need to hire, because when you try to hire too fast, you're going to miss key points of hiring the right person and what have you, right? So another thing is, you hire because you identify a real business need. See, yes, you might see an opportunity within your market. You might see a gap within your market that you can fill, right? Or you see a customer demand within your market, right? But at the same time, you don't want to hire because you identify a real business need, because a lot of times you're going to miss reference points that you need to do when you're hiring people. You might hire somebody that's not really skilled at what you need, right? So the reference checks that you need to make, right? Background checks that you need to make, right? So when you hiring too fast, you're going to miss the proper steps that you need to take to make sure you hiring the right person for the job, the person with the skill, labor, the skills that you need to do this job, right? Making sure you hiring somebody that's reputable, somebody that's going to value your company's culture, right? So you want to make sure you're not hiring just anybody, so you can be able to fill that gap within your market and what have you, or your customer demand, because now you hired the wrong person. That's going to even make more work for yourself, because if they're not going to do the job properly and you trying to reach a customer demand, guess what's going to happen? You're going to eventually end up losing the customer anyway, or you're going to put out bad product, bad quality, and what have you. So you want to make sure you do not rush the process of hiring somebody at all, right? And another thing is, a bad hire often costs more than waiting for the right person, and meaning that you might hire somebody that's the wrong person. It's going to cost you at the end of the day, because you're going to have to make adjustments to what the wrongdoing that they have done, right? If their quality is bad, they ship out the wrong thing, or it's something that's going to cost the company money, because you got to understand, you have to make the adjustments. You have to make it right within the customer, right? Within the client, whoever you are serving your product to, your services to, you have to make it right. Sometimes you have to make adjustments and what have you, right? Just like the job that I worked at, right? They had somebody shipping their product out, loading, unloading, and what have you, distribution company, what they call a 3PL company, what have you, right? Well, I think it was Frito-Lay, right? So they have to make the proper adjustment. Anytime anything is shipped out wrong, the vendor or the client don't get what they need, or they get the wrong thing, they have to make the adjustment to that order, right? And that's going to cost them a lot of money in the long run, right? So you got to be mindful of who you hiring, making sure you hiring a person that is skilled. That's not going to cost the company money at all, because it costs money to make it right with the customer. And that's the last thing you want to avoid, especially when you are trying to build a strong business, right? So you do not want to spend a lot of your money on making things right, rather than you putting it back into your company, right? So another thing is hiring friends and family without standards. Let me say it again: hiring friends and family without standards, meaning relationships don't automatically equal qualifications. And you got to understand that you are running the business and not a charity. So don't hire your friends and your family because they need a job, or you feel bad for their situation, or you feel like, okay, I'm trying to help this person out. At the end of the day, yes, you want to help somebody out, but you want to make sure they have the skills to be able to do the job that you're going to offer them, right? So you're not running the charity, because if you are not running the business, but rather than you running the charity, you just want to help people out, people are not going to look at the situation in the same way as you are. And people are not going to respect your business like the way you respect it. They're not going to take care of it the way you take it care of because you gave them something that they wasn't prepared or ready for. So you want to make sure that you are hiring people that have the qualification, because if you don't have hiring people without standards, it's going to at the end of the day, it's going to end up bad for you majority of the time. So you want to make sure you are hiring family that is have the qualifications to do what you need, friends that um, for the job that you have the skill set that you need, right? Yes, you can always enhance people's skills. You always can teach people skills, but if they got the basic knowledge of it, you can always train them up to make sure that they are doing the job properly, right? But just don't hire anybody that don't even have the knowledge to even a little bit of the skills to be able to get the job done. So do not, because like I said before, you are running a business, not a charity case, not a charity, right? So another thing is set clear expectations from day one. You definitely want to do that, because the way you start out is the way you finish. If you don't set the tone early on, then you allow things to go unchecked for so long, they're going to get in the habit of doing it. And when you try to correct them after so many times of them doing it, it's not going to help. So you got to set the tone from day one. You got to let them know from day one what the expectations is of this job and the expectation of them, so they can have a clear understanding of what they need to do. And so if they're not meeting them expectations, that, hey, they know the consequences and repercussions behind that, right? So don't let things go unchecked because they're your family, your friends, right? Because at the end of the day, you cannot go back around and try to check it when you let it go on for so long. It's not going to happen, because now they are conditioned to a way of doing things, right? Another thing is business decisions should never be based on guilt or obligation. So don't let anybody get guilt trip you because they feel like you are obligated to help them out because they may helped you out with something, right? So don't let guilt make you make the business decision for you, because at the end of the day, you can make the wrong decision that can cause your business to fold, collapse, and what have you. So you want to make sure you're making the proper decision that's going to help your business, not because you're making it out of guilt because you feel obligated to help a certain individual. No, this is business. Personal is personal, business is business. If your friend, your family did something for you that was personal, doesn't mean you have to feel obligated to do something for them on the business side. No, that's personal. Business is business, guys. The next thing is not defining roles clearly. So what this is every position should have responsibilities, right? So you want to be clear on the roles of people and the responsibilities that come with this role, right? Because at the end of the day, you want to make sure people have something to follow. They understand, like, this is, you are responsible. So you basically making them hold themselves accountable for the responsibilities that they need to take care of when they are working within your business and what have you. So every position comes with responsibilities, right? So you want to set roles clearly so people don't have a confusion, right? Because a lot of times people come confused and they're steady them focus on the role that they supposed to do, taking care of their responsibility. They are worrying about somebody else's role and responsibilities, right? So you want to make sure your team, this is the best way you can make sure your team is flowing, because everybody know what needs to be done. Is like a chain. So if one part of the chain breaks down, it's going to affect everything else on the chain. So you want to make sure that everybody have a clear understanding of what their role is on the team, right? Because everybody plays a significant role. If one person fall down, that's going to cause effect in the team and what have you, right? So another thing is employees should know exactly what success look like. So you want to have something for your employees to envision of something that they working towards, something that they can eventually be successful in. So when you can show them, okay, this is how success look because you have repeated it multiple times. So they have something to look forward to when they working within your business, right? And this is definitely going to have make them motivated because this is what they want to reach, the pinnacle of success within your business, because they part of something that is successful, and they want to be able to say, hey, I was able to chip in to help this success within this business or what have you. So every employee should know what success look like within your within a business, um especially when they're working for you and what have you, right? So confusion creates frustration and poor performance. So like I said before, you want to make sure, this is why it's important for you to make sure you define the roles and clearly, right? Because when people become confused and they don't understand their roles, they don't understand the responsibilities that they have, they're going to become frustrated, right? When people oftentimes become frustrated because they don't understand the job that they're in, they're going to have poor performance because they're not going to care no more. They're not going to care because they feel like that they're not being trained properly. They didn't get a clear understanding. You don't care whatsoever. You just look at them as another body and what have you, right? So yes, when you working at jobs, we all witness this. If new person come in and your training isn't up to par, and you just throw them in a situation and they still confused, they don't know what they're doing, guess what's going to happen? They're going to adopt that I don't care attitude. They really didn't train me up. I don't know what I'm doing, so forget it. I'm just going to put this here. I'm going to put that here. I'm just going to throw this on and what have you. So it's going to lead to poor performance. So make sure that you are defining the roles clearly to avoid confusion at all costs and what have you, right? So next thing is hiring for skill instead of character, right? Let me say it again, hiring for skill instead of character, right? So skills can often be taught. You can teach people skills. You can enhance people's skills, right? So if somebody you hire have the basic knowledge of the job, right, you can always enhance the skills that you need to be done to get this job done properly, right? Say for instance, a person have experience in doing it, they may not have done it in a couple years. You can always get them caught up to speed, right? That's what's important. You can always teach a skill. You can always enhance a skill and what have you. But one thing you can't do is teach character, right? You cannot enhance character, right? So that includes integrity, accountability, and work ethic. These are much harder to teach because this has to be in you. You have to have integrity. And a lot of times people don't operate with integrity. Integrity is you doing something right when no one is looking. You have integrity. You're not jeopardizing that by any cost. You're not jeopardizing that with any money and what have you, right? So you want to make sure this person have their honor and their integrity, right? They're not going to jeopardize that at all costs and nothing. And accountability, right? You cannot teach anybody accountability. That's gotta be in you. You gotta man up to your mistakes, right? You got to have somebody that's willing to say, hey, I made the mistake, holding themselves accountable, right? So those are things that go hand in hand: integrity, accountability, and work ethic. You cannot teach anybody work ethic, right? So work ethic got to be in you. That's like a lot of times you see people like they leave a job for a job that may be better and pay a lot more money, but if they don't have the work ethic, they're going the same work ethic they had at the job that was paying say $18 an hour, then they got a job that's paying $25 an hour. They're going to have that same work ethic. Yes. When they move on to that $25 job, yeah, within that first month, they might show up to work every day on time, work hard, but eventually that's going to fade away because that's not who they are. That's not the work ethic that they possess, right? So it doesn't matter, right? Because it's like you're going to fall back into old habits. So it doesn't matter what type of job you get. If your work ethic is not good, you're going to carry that on within your career of working and what have you, right? So you cannot teach somebody to have good work ethic. It has to be in you, right? You have to have a resume of great work ethic. And that's what resumes are for, showing the consistency, seeing a person, if they have a strong work history of where they are consistent and they not jumping job to job, they have the work skills that you are looking for. That's all is based about, right? And another thing is protect your company culture, and that's very important, right? You want people, hire people that's going to represent your company culture and what it stands for and what have you. So that's what's very important. So hiring for skill instead of character, guys. Um, Another thing is trying to do everything yourself, guys. This is what's very important, guys. Trying to do everything yourself, right? And that's the thing about it, guys. You cannot do everything yourself. You're just going to get to a point in your business where you have to delegate. You start delegating things because as your business grows, things going to get busier, customer demands going to become more, and what have you. The market going to change, and where to the point where you might have to do something different, but have to add on to your services and what have you, right? Depending on what the market demand is and what is missing, right? So things that's going to become time consuming, delegation is going to be very beneficial to you. It's going to work to your benefit because now you can delegate things that are time consuming to the point where you can now focus on different parts of your business that you need to attend to. You need to help grow and take care of, right? So it may also help you free up time so you can go and create more opportunities for your business and what have you, right? You can be able to go and create more ideas and what have you. So you cannot do everything yourself. So this includes entrepreneurs who confuse to delegate become the bottleneck. So you don't want to become the bottleneck of your business to where everything is solely up to you, right? Delegation, like I said, is beneficial to you, right? It's going to work and it's going to help you in major ways. So delegate. This is not don't have anything to doing with you being weak and what have you. This is absolutely something that's is going to be benefit to you, right? Especially when you hiring the right people you know you can get the job done, you can delegate something to, and you don't have to micromanage, you don't have to babysit, you don't have to be hands-on with that person. They're going to get the job done like you are expecting the job to get done and what have you, right? Another thing is trust your teammates with responsibilities. And I know sometimes that's as an entrepreneur and you grew this business, you built the foundation of this business, and this is like your baby. And it's hard for you to give part of it to somebody to do because it's like they're you in your mind, you thinking like they're not going to do the job, like I'm gonna do it. And don't do that, right? Because you have people out there can probably do the job better than you or equal to what you can do it. So you got to learn how to trust people with the responsibilities that you give to them, right? Because at the end of the day, this is what you have a team for. They are here to help you. Of course, if they're not getting the job done, and they have poor performance, that's why you have a system of now I have to reprimand you, right? Have to give you a warning, have to give you a write-up, and then eventually have to give you your pink slip, right? So you don't have to basically micromanage your team, right? You have a system set up. So if they're not doing the job, you take care of it, right? So another thing is your job is to lead, not micromanage, right? Let me say it again. Your job is to lead, not micromanage. You are a leader, right? A leader, like they say, a team reflects leadership. So you want to be a leader, not a micromanager. You want to lead by example. If you are leading by example and people understand your leadership, they're going to make sure they doing the job at 100%, right? They're going to make sure they pay attention to the details. They're going to make sure their performance is high and what have you, because they respect the leadership that they are under and what have you, right? So you don't have to micromanage. You lead, and that's leading by example and what have you, right? So another thing is ignoring company culture, right? Ignoring company culture. So this is culture develops whether you intentionally build it or not, right? So as you are building your business and you are who you are, you're going to pour that into your business. That's what you're going to build your business around, right? So it's going to intentionally build it or not, right? Because who you are and how you lead is going to develop the culture within your business. Either if you're not intentionally trying to do it, it's going to happen, right? Because people are going to see what you stand for and how you move, right? So it's going to build. So hire people who align with your missions and values. Like I said, people when they know what your mission is, your company's mission and your values and what have you, they're going to align themselves with it. Especially when you hiring the right people. That's why, like I said before, you have interviews, right? You have resumes. You got to do your due diligence, your reference checkpoints and what have you, making sure this person that you hire is the best fit and they align with the values that you have as an entrepreneur, as a person, and what have you, right? And they are representing your company mission statement and what have you. So this is what you want to make sure you immersing people within your company culture that align themselves with your missions and your values and what have you, right? Another thing is a healthy culture improves retention and productivity. Like I said, a healthy culture improves retention and productivity. Like I said, people don't mind staying at a job that has a strong culture, that have a welcoming culture, great leadership, or what have you. Yeah, those jobs is far in between, right? You have a lot of jobs, have a revolving door, but you have some companies out there to this day still are good jobs. People love coming to the job. Yes, you might have some hangups here and there, but we are human, right? But at the end of the day, this is a healthy job. It doesn't affect your mental, it doesn't affect your physical and what have you, right? So this is a healthy culture, right? That you don't mind coming giving your 100% work to, right? Because they're going to take care of you at the end of the day. So the retention is going to be high. That's why I say, if you never see jobs on Indeed, on other hiring, other job sites and what have you, you don't see these jobs typically on, that they have a strong retention, right? They don't have a revolving door, right? Because only time you may see them post is if you have people might hit that age of retirement, right? Where you might have 1, 2 people retire, or you might have a person that might have moved on to a better, not a better job, just a higher paying position, right? So you might see them might hire every blue moon for a position, right? Or they might need 2 people to fill in the roles or whatever they hiring at, right? So if you have a business with that has a healthy culture, people don't mind staying there because they love where they at, because it doesn't challenge their mental or their physical. It doesn't drain them. They don't feel like, man, this is not where I want to be. This is a great place. I love it, right? And productivity, like I said before, productivity gonna be high because they don't mind giving 110% to you every day, because they know you're going to take care of them in the long run, right? So this is very important. So you don't want to hire anybody that's not going to that doesn't align itself up with the mission or the values of your company culture and what have you, right? Another thing is avoiding difficult conversations, right? So this is, you want to address problems early. Like I said, you don't want problems to manifest and linger, right? So you want to be able to address problems early so you can nip it in the bud, so you can correct it, so it won't happen. And this will save you from have to spend money trying to correct and fix the situation, because at the end of the day, guys, you want to make sure you're not spending a lot of money correcting problems, right? Because the money that your company is making, you want to be able to put that back into your business for good use. You want to be able to invest in different things for your business to enhance it, to help it grow. So you want to address problems early, whether that's a problem with people. That, guys, I had a call, so I had to jump on it real quick. So where was I at again? I was talking about avoiding problems early. Next thing is giving constructive feedback is part of leadership. You have to get constructive feedback because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that your employees, the people that you got part of your team, is doing the job properly, making sure they are becoming even stronger in their skill set, making sure they are executing at the highest level, right? Because quality matters, right? It doesn't matter about the quantity. You want to make sure the quality of your services, your products, and what have you is always at 100%, right? So that's what's important. Making sure you get constructive feedback is part of giving constructive feedback is part of leadership. So you cannot be a person that's yes, you don't have to be confrontational, right? You have a lot of people that's non-confrontational, but you can't be scared to speak up when something is wrong or give feedback, right? So another thing is small issues become major problems when ignored. So nip small things in the bud, because small things can turn into big things, and that's the last thing you want to avoid, especially as an entrepreneur. Nip small things in the bud early, because they definitely can turn into bigger problems for you, right? So it can be anywhere from one of your team members, that's part of your team, anywhere for bad quality. It can be anything from that's a small problem at the moment. You want to make sure you nip that in the bud so it won't linger on whatsoever. So next thing is not investing in training, right? So this is very important. You want to invest money in training, because as the market change, you might have to enhance your training. You might have to make sure your team is growing within what is needed within the market. You might have to add something to your services. That's why you have some people as entrepreneurs go to seminars, depending on what you do, because it might be the next best thing that's out that people are asking for. So you might have to get this certain equipment. You might have to understand how to do this certain thing within your business or this product and what have you. So thing about it is, don't expect people to know everything. So when you are hiring people in your team, don't expect people to know everything. You definitely do have to train them up. They might have the basic knowledge, but you have to invest in training. That's making sure your team is hitting at all cylinders, make sure each and every one's skill set is where it needs to be so they can produce the quality that you are looking for, to expect and meet the expectations that you're looking for, right? Another thing is continuous learning creates stronger employees. Like I said, you're going to continue to learn, and you want your employees to continue to learn too. Like I said, the market changes. So when the demand gets higher into something else, where customers demand something else, or it's the next best thing that enters within the market of a service or something that people ask for, you have to change with it. Just like if you are a hairstylist, you're a barber, or you had your own cleaning service, right? It might be the next best thing that you might have to get this certain type of equipment for these services. So you have to learn. So you want to continue to learn, because it goes hand in hand. As you learn as an entrepreneur, you grow. As you grow, your business grow. It goes hand in hand. The moment you stop growing, your business is going to stop growing, and your team going to stop growing. So you want to continue to go. And the other thing is, training is investment, not expense. So you are investing in your business when it comes to training. So don't look at training as expense, rather than it's an investment that's going to carry you a long way, right? Next thing is keeping the wrong people too long, right? So you're keeping the people wrong too long, right? Loyalty shouldn't come before the health of the business. So loyalty to somebody that is the wrong person for this job, right? That's not really producing like you want, not meet expectation. You keeping them around because you loyal to, because they may be your family member, your friend, and what have you. This can hurt your business, because now if depending on what they are doing, this is causing problems and for your customer service. Now your customers are complaining, you get emails, you're getting calls and what have you. So, and also, if they constantly late for work, they're not there to make sure that the job is getting done properly. Right now, they have to rush because they're trying to play catch up. So it can be anything, or they causing a bad vibe or toxic culture within your company. You have to let them go, right? Because health of your business is everything, because if the health of your business become affected, it's going to start to affect your employees, right? So one toxic employee can damage the entire team. Like you said, one bad apple can spoil a whole team. So if that bad apple is on your team, you have to get rid of it, because they may have a lot of influence over your team. And a lot of people dictate whether they make their decisions based on how that person is and how they think. If that person have a lot of influence over people and they feel like, nah, this is not right, and this and that, and going against what you are telling your employees, then you need to let them go, because they have too much influence over your team, and that's not hurting. That's not going to help your team whatsoever, right? And sometimes letting someone go is best for everyone. So you have to let a person go that's a bad apple, because that can save your team from becoming damaged and save your company health from becoming your company culture from becoming toxic and what have you, right? Before I go today, man, the key takeaways for this show was hire intensely, not emotionally, build a culture before building a large team, clear communication prevents confusion, invest in people who invest in your vision, right? And another thing is great businesses are built by great teams, not great founders alone. Thank you.